Hey, how you doing, everybody? It's your host, Casey Rosales, and I'm here with Timothy Jordan and Calvin Cambrage.
Hey, how we doing? It's a pleasure to be on the Varsity Club.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure, man, that I'm here. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem, no problem. The reason I decided to make this ragtag team is because I got a certain topic I want to talk about today. I want to talk about a pretty relatable topic. Uh, it goes back to our high school basketball days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about like what's everybody's like high school experience playing. You know what I'm saying? It's high school sports. And then you guys can choose whoever goes for first. It doesn't really. I'll just go last since
All right.
y'all are my guests. I got to take care of y'all.
All right, since I'm the oldest, I'm gonna go first. Back in the day, man, 2015, I was literally like the big man on my team. Like, 6'8", SWAT, anything to get in my paint. Like I was like Shaquille O'Neal. Like no one was getting any shots off with me around. And if they tried, it was getting sent to the stands, man. It was funny how these little 5'11" little guards were trying me. Like I didn't lead the year like blocks.
That's crazy.
But we sucked though. We didn't even make the playoffs. Bro, we sucked. We were trash.
Oh my god.
Wait, hold on.
Trash.
Hold on. So how did you like even like when was like the first year you ever played
We were
for the team?
trash.
The first time I ever played basketball?
The first time you ever played like for your school team?
Oh, I didn't start off until my senior year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I went to 3 high schools. This was a brand new high school that got built. They didn't have any sport teams until like my junior year. So I was there for 2 years, and I went to play sports. So I just left. So I went to like the second grade school in my city of Long Beach, California, which was like Milliken. And I played there for a little bit, but then I tore my ACL in my preseason.
That's fear right there. That's
Damn.
fear.
And then pretty much the coach that was like the assistant coach of the team at the time, he said he was going to be a head coach at a different school that I went to in my senior year, Cabrillo. So when I transferred over, because I believed in his word, this dude wasn't even the head coach. He was the coach for the freshmen.
That's tough.
So he took me and like 3 other people. I mean, me and 2 other people over there to transfer for no reason.
That's tough.
I had to earn my spot, which was crazy because their big man was only like 5'11".
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was a transfer, so we had to earn our keep.
Did you guys in California? Do you guys have the thing where when you transfer schools, you have to sit out like 8 games?
Oh no.
Nah, see in Phoenix, that's the thing. I don't know if you know about that, Casey.
No, I do because some people transferred to my school and then they had to do this wait thing. They got to wait.
Yeah, you have to wait. I think the first half of the season, which is like 6 games. The first 6 games, you have to sit, and you can't play at all.
Yeah, no, we were so trash. No one cared. No one cared. No one cared.
That's fucking tough.
So it was hilarious. So then pretty much like I started a couple games. Other games I just came off the bench. And I was just like, I didn't care. Either way, I was going to dominate. And I remember it was in our senior year. I think it was like the game before our senior year. Dude, I had like 6 blocks that game. And I was coming off the bench. Because like me and the coach was butting heads in practice. Yeah. And then every block I got, I would just stare them down and dodge.
Dude, I did the same thing in high school.
Yeah.
Dude, my high school experience was more like typical where you play like your freshman year, and a little bit of JV towards the end of the season. And then I got to get the chance to play JV my sophomore year. And I was captain my sophomore year. Didn't even see a minute of varsity. I wasn't big enough because our district, or not even our district, our region, they scouted. So everyone in our region was scouting. Everyone was like 6'8", 6'6" dudes from like California, Texas. Like I remember St. Mary's. They had dudes from like Africa. Like, dude, they recruited
The
out of
Joel
everywhere.
Embiid's,
Dude, literally
The
Joel Embiid's
Bobos.
everywhere on
the
the bench.
the Serge
On
Ibaka.
the surges, bro, they were all there. And I remember I got to my junior year, which is like I guess my best year. And I made varsity, and I played a little bit of JV. I was captain of JV, so I got to pretty much do whatever I wanted on there because it's JV, no one cares. And by that moment, when I played, I had the same situation where we hated our coach, and like he was really strict with rotations, and like he would put it nicely, garbage dudes in this game. I'm like, bro, like it's a close game. Like you need to leave us out there. And we had like our starters, and we all know who the best dudes were. Like we all knew, like the no reason to sit me and this dude who's on the bench ain't gonna come and save your team. And I remember like one game, he sat me, and the other team made a run, and like it was a tied game, and I came back in the game. First play I came back, I got my teammate wide open on like a layup or something. And you can like, I have a video of it. I'm like me backpedaling and just talking to my coach, like, that's why you won't take me out. Leave me in this game. Just talking to him, bro. And they took me out again.
Dude, our coach was letting our JV coach us, bro. I was like,
That
you
is
are a waste of space, my guy. Like, you didn't do.
Damn.
And Casey.
that's not me.
It's not me.
But it's cool. I'll edit it out. Just restart.
And then, like, yeah, so our coach had our JV coach teach us, and they only won one game out the whole semester.
Wow.
That's
And
crazy.
we only won one game too. But our
Y'all only
preseason,
won one game.
bro, during our regular season, our preseason we won more games in our preseason than we did our regular season. We won like 3 games in our preseason.
That's
What?
crazy.
That sounds like
Out of
Coach
7.
Carter.
So you guys never even sniffed like state.
Bro, we didn't even breathe. We didn't even think about state.
That's crazy.
Bro, like we was getting scouted in our preseason before we like
Yeah, until the season started. Yeah.
That's crazy. Cause like when my high school coach, everybody else on the team hated him. Everybody else, I personally liked the coach. You know what I'm saying? And then he wasn't really strict on rotations either. Like if you were doing terrible, or like if you weren't running the plays out, like everybody on the bench knew the plays. Like you're getting subbed out, like easy. Like you're easily replaceable. But it was a cool, tight knit little team. You know, we smelled state. We smelled it a little bit until we had to come across St. Mary's and Paradise Honors and whatever.
Wait, you played St. Mary's in one round?
Well, no, we almost played St. Mary's.
Oh, to play the final.
To play in the final.
Yeah.
But so we almost saw St. Mary's in the final, but we lost to Paradise Honors, which was that worst game ever. Worst game ever to watch from the bench. Because I was a bench guy. Even on when I was on varsity.
Yep, I was a bench guy.
When I was on varsity, I could not remember a play to save my damn life.
It's their plays. That's your one job as a bench player is to remember your plays.
Yeah, but
the easiest
I
part of
didn't
basketball is plays.
see, but that's the thing is.
I'm confused on
that. That's one of the easiest jobs.
On the bench, you
listen, hear me out.
Else, like,
He said if you're on the bench, you got to.
It's the only thing you got to worry
about. Hear me out. Ready? I only started playing basketball my freshman year, so I didn't know any terms of basketball. I didn't know anything about basketball. I just knew that you had to put the ball in the basket. You know what I mean? And the best way I could do that was just shooting my jump shot over people. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know like what a spin seal was. I didn't know what my coach meant when he's like, oh, like post up at the elbow. Like what the hell's an elbow?
What? You didn't even know like positions on the court?
I didn't even know like what a shooting guard was, a power forward was. I didn't know.
You were definitely like they were like, oh, it's his senior year, give him a chance.
But the thing is,
he barely makes the
no, but the thing is that like I could hoop. I could hoop. I just didn't like. They just had to tell me like, oh, like I knew what like a shooting guard, like Pete, like the point guard, whatever. I just didn't know that you could call him the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 at the time. So I remember the first time I walked into practice, he was like, all right, run the 5-man weave. And I'm like, what?
Easy shit.
What's a weave? I'm asking my teammates, I'm like, yo, like, what's a weave? What's the 5-man weave?
It's a 3-man weave, just 5-man.
No, but then, I didn't even know what a 3-man weave was.
That's crazy. That's how you know you've never played organized. See, that's such a crazy concept to me because I've been playing organized basketball since I was in 4th grade.
Yeah, I've
So
never played
I never played
a game of organized basketball until my junior year.
That's wild.
When I was on JV.
That's wild.
So yeah, and then the only reason I didn't try out for like my sophomore and freshman year is because you know like the physical, you know, you have to turn in your paper for your physical.
Yeah, you have to get it every year.
Yeah, I forgot to turn it in those 2 years.
And that happened to me at my junior college. We were starting like our first tournament. I had that thing turned in on time.
Damn.
And it was embarrassing, bro, because it was like all my dudes from like high school, like on the JUCO, like for junior college. They were like, Zeke, why you not playing? I said, I forgot my physical.
Bro,
yeah, it was kind of sad.
Like they're like, oh, if you don't turn it in, you're gonna have to sit like this amount of games, and we're like, oh yeah, turn our physical. And like, you know, dude don't have a car yet, so like I'm like, Mom, we gotta go get my physical, and it takes like 4 days to process. It's like it's so annoying. Like
I didn't get my physical to like
the process is ridiculous.
Bro, that thing is hilarious because especially when you play in like junior college, because you know y'all don't know that y'all came straight up here. Pretty much every good person from every team you played against in high school
is
on your team.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they're all ball hogs too.
Bro, we pretty much had like what was it? Like 15 people that was cold on their own team was like on the same team.
Yeah.
Oh, we was like, oh yeah, we're not losing. But then, you know, after high school, people just want to drop out, do drugs, and sell them. So
half
the team was gone.
That's how all JUCO is, though. Like all JUCO is like, is all the dudes that aren't either big enough or like aren't as good enough to get to university. They all go to JUCO, and it's like all these JUCO teams with all these high school dudes that pretty much just keep playing each other hard,
bro. And
yeah, that's crazy.
What made me want to stop hooping at my JUCO was because I was doing like my second year there, and then I didn't find out our team leader. This dude was 37 years old.
Jeez,
what?
I was like, wait,
you're chasing a dream, bro.
Bro, I was like, you're lying, right? He was like, nah, like he's like LeBron shape for that old.
Yeah.
I was just like, how old is him? He was like, yeah, Detroit, 37. I said, yeah, I'm done hooping. I said, I'm transferring.
I can't.
Walk on. I said, nah.
JUCO is such a struggle, bro. Just to make
it is. It's a fight. It's a fight.
Bro, he was like, no, bro, been there since like he said he's been there for 6 years in the bro. I said, yeah, I'm done.
No way.
I said, yeah, no. I put an application for Northern Arizona.
That's all.
Came here. I went to hoop. I ended up doing track. They didn't want to give me a scholarship for high jump. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to do a tournament or something in Phoenix. Go overseas.
That's what I'll do. I mean, that's what we want to do. I mean, me, Casey, and
that's what we're gonna
all our friends is that we want to play men's league this summer.
Oh, like I dropped a little $300 for a little tournament.
Yeah, a little something.
Yeah, I do that and just give people buckets. Oh my God, post.
Well, the thing is that like you're the size to be in men's league. All of us, we're not big enough. Like the people we be playing with, you know, the old man strength. We don't have that yet.
Yeah, y'all got that kid shit.
Yeah, we still got to build into our man's body. And we're playing dudes that are like 35 and playing basketball since they were like 11, and they've been just playing basketball their whole entire lives, and they're also like 200 pounds and know how to use their weight.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Like,
just be the Doug McDermott. Just stand on that corner, get that little open three. There you go,
man.
See what y'all just need to work on y'all shot. Y'all still growing. Y'all got like 4 more years until y'all done. Hit them push-ups, eat right, practice on your shooting. That's all it is.
No, that's what I'm saying. I feel like we can do it, but like the thing, like what Reese said about the grown man strength, I really feel like we could just like outskill them. Like they're old.
No, we're definitely faster and more.
They're old,
and our endurance is gonna be crazy. It's just the fact that we're just not big. You know, like it happens even at the rec center. Like we'll play and then like We'll get bodied because we're just not big enough yet.
Now,
But it's
see,
like
but
y'all
what I'm
getting
telling you, Reese, is like the only way we can like counterbalance that is if we don't miss.
But you're going to miss.
No, but that's the thing. You got to get to the point where you're not going to. So you could
But
just
that's how basketball works. I mean, the best players miss. The best players in the world miss. You're gonna miss.
all
I'm
right.
not
You're
saying
good.
you're gonna go, 0 of 5, but I'm saying that one time you miss could be the game. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get 100% what you're saying, but it's like if like just the thing is like you just have to we just have to practice and literally outskill everybody. Literally outskilled. There's a D1 basketball player who's 5'2".
I believe it.
He played in the NCAA tournament and he's 5'2".
I believe it.
was he starting?
Yeah.
All right, you got to think about this. How cold was his handles? How good was his shot? How good was his passing?
It's leagues
Yeah,
above
that
us.
all his skills have to be god tier, ethereal, ultra instinct like.
And think about it too. You're not thinking about is the defensive liability he is. Even though he made it.
Easy
He's
still.
an easy defensive. He's the biggest defensive liability because he's 5'2". You put
No,
a
he
six,
probably just stealing the ball.
bro.
No,
But
no,
think about it. I mean, you're
he
6'4".
definitely steals the ball.
And they
His
take off
defense is
running.
actually really good, actually.
No, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying when you play someone that's equally as talented, but they're 6'4", they're gonna be better than you. I mean, that's just the rule of everything. I mean, think about it.
Well, logistically, yeah, that like
Yeah, that's
logically
how it
that would
works.
make sense. But if you've seen this dude play, I forgot his name, but he's 5'2". I forget what college he played for. He was in the tournament or whatever. And then he averages like 3 steals a game because he's 5'2". Like a big man tries to dribble, he's cookies. It's cookies every day.
But that's cookies for anyone, though. That's what I'm trying to. That's
Yeah,
my
that's what I'm
point.
trying to say. Like he uses his height to his advantage, even though it may seem like a disadvantage. He's giving people buckets.
I'm not saying it's impossible because Isaiah Thomas, obviously, you know, 5'11". But I mean, when you look at him, the reason why he's not in the league is he's too big of a defensive liability.
Well, and he got a hip injury.
Well, not only that, but I'm saying even like when he was playing like at an MVP level, he was known for being a defensive liability. Like you can't get past defense. You have to be. If you're a defensive liability, your offense has to be so exponential that it doesn't matter. Like if you're not Steph Curry on the court, then like you're just hurting your team because you're defensively you're just hurting you're making your team worse. And then we have to hide you. That's what the Warriors did. They had to hide them on someone that can't play, but you can't always do that when you're playing a very talented team.
Then what do you think about Fred VanVleet then? Because he's like 6.
He's a defensive liability.
Really, Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
Yes, he's what 6 foot.
Yeah, he's
I'm not
6 foot.
saying he's garbage. I'm just saying he's a defensive liability. I mean, if you give me a 6'4" guard, I'm gonna say go to the post. There's nothing he can do. What is he gonna do? He's gonna reach and foul you, and then we're going to the free throw line. I'll live with that all day. But I think the size advantage starts to matter once we get older. Maybe not as when we're younger it matters, because then when you're younger, high school, it's whoever has more skill. But then it gets to a point where, we get to an older age and people just start learning how to use their size. I mean, if you look at Zeke, you don't see Zeke running from someone that's like if me and you are in the paint, he doesn't shy away. He's coming right at us.
Is that true? Is that true,
We're
Timothy?
faster than him.
Oh yeah, I'm 6'8". Everybody, I gotta announce that.
Yeah, no, like we're not stopping Zeke when he gets to the paint, and he's not gonna run from us either. Like we're faster than him.
I'm
And
going full
we steal the
charge.
ball from him when he dribbles, but once he decides to
I
go
am
into that paint,
running full charge, tuck
it's
that ball
raps.
in 2 steps, and
It's
I'm
raps.
jumping as high as I can to put that ball to the hoop.
Yeah, it's raps. There's nothing we can do, and I'm not saying I can, dunk the ball, but I can jump with Zeke. But he's so much stronger. He off balances me with just his size and strength that there's nothing I can do. And then you can't even jump with him, but you made just amount to be strong enough. But then by then he's just gonna drop step you because he's taller than us. He's gonna either lefty hook or right hook.
And then Casey don't even play defense.
And then Casey, you're already a defensive liability. You're not even that much small. Like I think when it comes to size, when we get older, the older we get, it's just people are gonna know how to use their size more and more and more. And people are just gonna get better too as well with knowledge.
I don't know. I think you make really good points when you know what I'm saying, like from a logic standpoint, but I'm really looking at this from like the player's perspective. I really think it really is heart over height. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like Reese, like you're like what, like 120 pounds?
That's so
I'm just
disrespectful.
all right. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's so disrespectful.
You're like what, like 150, 160,
160.
right? I'm almost like 200 pounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, like I feel like you could just despite whether really looking at the 5'2" guy, he's actually not he's a cookie monster on defense, and he's actually like I think going off what you said about when like we get older, as we get older, our teammates get older and our teammates get better, and I think because like with the state of the game now, I think it's easier to hide defensive liabilities just from what I've seen and what I've seen from like college games, high school games, and like and even NBA games, like Kemba Walker.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
But that's you say that and it's crazy. But here's the thing is when we get to this level, the reason why I brought up younger is because you could try to hide them, but then what happens when you're on defense and I have someone else guarding me that's a good defender, and you're guarding that person. I'm like, come right here, set a screen, and if he doesn't want to switch, he's either going to get beat or he's going to be beat on the roll, and then you're left either having to guard me or you're guarding the big, and you have to guard a dude that's rolling. So like there's no way to hide you that much anymore. Like Steph Curry's that man he's guarding will be called out to set a pick and roll on say James Harden, and James Harden's going to have the one-on-one on Steph, and it's a liability. So, I mean, you could try to hide them as well as you can, but once you get to this level, pick and roll them to death, I mean, that's what we do now. Like, when we go to the rec center, we find the one person that we know can't guard us, and we're like, come set the screen. They're switching it. If they don't want to switch, they're going to get beat. There's no way around it. They're going to get beat. So, I mean, I understand with that small dude, but, I mean, imagine a 5'2" dude and a dude that knows how to really use a screen – even say me, and I say Zeke, set the screen right here. I come off the screen, and he's running into a 6'8" dude. He's not getting around that. There's no way.
Yeah, that is a good point.
And then even if they switch. I have a big on me, and if I don't want to attack the big, Zeke has a 5'2" guard on him. You're telling me Zeke's not just gonna step over him?
Oh no, definitely. He's
taking
taking the
one,
man's
two steps over him. He's just gonna grab the ball, take one big old step over him, and score. Like it's hard to hide, bro. Especially when someone knows you're the liability. They're like, "Come here, come here."
That you make a lot of good points. A lot of good assertions, but I just want to bring it back to the high school basketball experience, starting with Zeke / Timothy. So like, what were your emotions when you played your first ever high school game?
I remember playing my away game, my home game. The away game, like our first away game of the season. We played this trash team that was worse than us, and they still beat us. We beat them away, but they beat us at home.
Oh,
yeah. Wow. That was garbage. It looked like all freshmen, dude. I think I got like 13 rebounds that game.
What were your like emotions? Were you like nervous?
Emotions was just like I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to embarrass these little kids in front of their friends and family, like, and probably pull the cheerleaders too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just went in and I was like pushed me like to the max.
And then what made you realize those emotions? Like how did you become literate with your emotions?
Bro,
what?
Like what gets me fired up before these games, bro, is like,
oh my god,
I listen to like Chief Keef.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of drill music, pretty much. Like,
yeah.
I listen to like that murder gang. Like
murder gang. What?
I be wanting to like kill people in that court, bro. Like I go straight. What's his name from Detroit?
Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace, bro. Ben Wallace on the dude, bro. I'd be ready to just destroy, bro. Destroy everything I walk. Like that's what motivates me, man. And doing that I do it better at away games than I do at home games because it's like I can embarrass people at their own house.
You have to cut that.
Oh God.
All right, what were you saying?
Yeah, I like to embarrass people at their own house. Like I like to disrespect people in their own house. So yeah, that's what motivates me.
Mm.
And then my first home game, it was lit. Like everybody was in there, like the stands, we had the bad females there. I had to be there, bro. That's why it's so.
Must have been nice, bro.
That's why it's like nervous to play home than it is away because at least you can embarrass someone at their own house and then pull their girl. But at your house, you got to be good. You don't want to mess up.
I have that conversation at lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, my first home game, I fumbled the bag.
Damn.
I fumbled. I think I had like 3 turnovers, bruh.
Damn.
Like 6 rebounds and like 9 points.
That's
I
tough.
fumbled the bag. The second home game, bro, that's when I turned up with like 5 blocks. I had like 6 points and like 11 rebounds. But I was on a mission.
So what do you remember like a specific moment where you got like so nervous where you're like, damn, like I'm gonna throw up? Well, maybe not that like extreme.
Oh
like,
yeah, no, preseason because it was my first time playing with these dudes. In preseason, we wasn't playing people in our conference. We was playing like people like Riverside, different school districts. So we was playing like it was some teams that was bigger than us. Like I'm like only it's like me 2 others that are big. We was playing teams that was all like 6'4" and up.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, preseason was like nerve wracking for me.
Yeah, that's great insight. And then all right, Calvin / Reese. So like, what? How did you feel when you first ever stepped on a basketball court?
Your questions change. What do you mean? Like organized? What do you mean?
Yeah, like your first ever organized basketball game.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got to remember, like, I'm not like necessarily you or Zeke. I've been playing basketball since elementary school.
That's why I had to reword the question a different way.
Well, I mean, I would rather. I don't know. I don't really remember. It's just you're a kid and you don't know any better. If that makes sense. Because obviously you're trying to do good, but like in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter, you know. And I was a 4th grade. I wasn't good. I couldn't shoot, but I could maybe go right. The only time I could only go right. Don't think I could hit a crossover. Oh, the only thing I really knew is that I truly love this sport. That's the one thing I knew is I love this sport.
Really? So you weren't nervous when you played that first game in 4th grade?
I mean, I was in elementary school. I didn't know any better to be nervous. You know, it's just elementary school. Now, if we're talking middle school, high school, never. I was never nervous because, I mean, I've been playing for so long. And you kind of just learn your job. You know what you're supposed to do. The only thing you could really be nervous about is minutes. That's the only thing I was ever nervous about. I wasn't going to get my minutes because I was always a guy that thought, even today, I think when I'm on the court, it only improves. It doesn't matter who I'm on the court with. If I'm on the court, we're going to be better. I could be a role player. If I'm the main guy, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm making our team better. So I was only never nervous about minutes, me getting my minutes. Even though I started, you know, my coaches could sometimes really be strict about rotation, which was very annoying. But yeah, no, I was never nervous ever.
Never. There was never one instance where you were like,
I could say, in elementary school we so on my 4th grade year we won like the district championship, I guess. But like I was there, but like I wasn't a contributing factor, you know. I was a bench kid. But my 6th grade year, I was actually a starter. Like I was a contributing role to the team. So that championship game, I can kind of remember. I was like, okay, this is really happening. And playing that in that environment was always fun. And when we won, it was relieving. I would say when we played St. Mary's, the team, you and me, we obviously grew up in Phoenix, and we're in the same district. We're the same size schools, 4A. So, St. Mary's, they're ridiculous. And I was a bench guy. Like, it was the end of this season, so I knew I was out of the rotation. I wasn't going to get any minutes anyway. But the atmosphere that they brought, I mean, you could only dream of, student section, no one has any space. Parent section, I mean, the other section, the big old section is packed. You're sitting on the bench, I mean, Casey, like we're not going to really play, but like we're in this environment.
Yeah.
And you see the lights drop, it's dark, and then the music comes on, and then all the student section has their lights, their flashlights going crazy.
And
They
then you
start
got your team
cheering,
intros.
and then they start shaking the floor, and you're just like, what the? Like, this is an energy that I wish I could. Like, my high school was never like that. They weren't really big basketball fans, I should say. Like, we would have a student section, but like not a lot of parents were coming out. But the student section at St. Mary's was ridiculous. I mean, they had a dude in a chicken costume. They had some baddies in the crowd, and they were talking mad trash the whole game. I mean, it's the game you wish you played in. Like, you wish you were a star player because you just want to take that energy and reverse it onto them, Like, you talk trash back, but I'm a bench guy, and all I could be like is cheer my team on and do my best. But, I mean, we're getting blown out by 15 the whole game because these dudes are, like Zeke said, you play those teams that are all 6'4" and taller, recruited. Freshmen are on the starting squad. They're ridiculously talented. And we play that team first round, we get swept. Oh, not swept, but we just lose. And they are obviously go on to be state champions, and that's where you miss the opportunity to also play them. But, I mean, you sit in that gym, dude, and it's mind-boggling how they can create an atmosphere like that in high school. Like, that's the stuff you hear, like, in college or in NBA when they're like, oh, it's game 7. Like, that's what it felt like, was game 7, and that really rattled me.
Wow. All right, and I got another question directed towards both of you guys. Was there any point within your basketball career where you felt any doubt within your skill or just doubt within, like, continuing the sport? Was there any moment in time that the both of y'all, like, experienced that feeling? Experienced those type of emotions?
Oh, doubt? Yeah, I doubted my abilities a couple times. I'm not gonna lie. I thought like I could have been better as a big man. I thought I could have you know, because now since we're transitioning the game where like all big men can dribble, shoot, and then I feel like I'm still stuck in the past where I'm just like posting up because that's what everybody wants you to do. So I felt like I was put in a cage where it was just like I feel like I could do more. People don't want me to do more. They just want me to do the big man bare minimum.
No,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I could definitely vouch for that because I had some big men on my team who definitely felt the same way, and they got real mad at the coach. They got real mad at the coach. They would just stand there on the block, wait for the drive and then get the pass and then just dunk it in the hoop. It probably got boring. How what would you say? Would you say it got pretty boring?
Oh, you talking about me? Oh, my bad. Yeah, of course, 100%. I'm sorry.
Now, what about you, Reese? You had any moments where you had emotional doubt within your skills or doubt within your basketball career?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the opposite. I was, as I mentioned before, sorry to repeat, but I played in elementary school and I was taller than everybody else. So I was taught to be a big man and when I was younger. Even when I got to middle school, I was taught to be, bigger body, be post guy, just be ready, set screens, roll, fade. And I never really got to developing a jump shot, a handle. I was a good passer because, I'd love to pass. My favorite part of the game is passing. But I was a good passer, and I could make my layups when I needed to. And a good defender. I was a great defender. I could guard 1 through 5. But offensively, until I got to my junior year, I felt shallow, one-dimensional. Like Zeke was saying, like you become a big and become really post. That's really all you're known for. And then, like, I see people that are, like, you get to high school and everyone's pretty much the same size at guard, at 6 foot or 6'1", And I'm like, well, this dude could out dribble me all day. He can't out pass me, but he could definitely out dribble me and out shoot me. So I mean, that's the doubt right there. Is like, am I good enough to even be a guard and today play like in a rec league with my friends? Am I good enough to facilitate and keep my handle? But I mean, you just develop that part of your game over time. You just try to rebuild your game from the ground up. That's what I had to do. So yeah, I've had doubt, but not like doubt in my ability to perform, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, and I just since we're almost at the stretch the latter end of the podcast, I just wanted to know if you guys can like direct some questions to me that I can ask, like preferably the same questions that I asked you guys.
Yeah. My question is, why are you so trash at basketball?
Dude, I was gonna ask the
Oh.
same thing. I was gonna say the exact
Oh.
same thing. I was gonna be like,
No.
why are you so garbage?
Yeah.
Why didn't you come out better?
I'm playing.
Okay, I
Yeah,
got
Zeke, y'all
you.
funny.
Starting your freshman year, in this game of basketball, what was the draw to it? Was it the competitiveness? Was it you know, the teammate aspect? I mean, obviously it's not because you don't like having good teammates. So,
Oh. Yeah, actually, no,
what was the
that's
draw
yeah.
to
I got a
basketball?
good reason for that actually. Yeah, but go ahead.
No, what was the draw to basketball? What made you love this game that we all enjoy?
Well, it did start my 8th grade summer year when, if Reese may know that I was a little chubby, obese. If you want to take it a little
fatty
further,
fat.
I was a little obese, right?
It's all right.
And so I looked at myself one day in the mirror and I was like, I need to change. I need to change something here.
Mm,
And so I was like, well, I mean, I could go to the gym and lift weights, but it's like I just needed just to burn a little belly fat, burn a little
yeah.
love here, burn a little belly fat. And so I was like, cardio. I'm like, I didn't really want to run, but I also wanted to learn something new and pick up a new little something, a little new hobby.
Mm,
Because at that point I wasn't playing video games anymore.
yeah.
I just didn't want to play video games, and so I was like, oh, like you know what? Like, and then that was also the time where I was really set on like setting myself goals, and so I set
Goal
myself a
oriented.
goal. Yeah, so I set myself a goal that I would make the basketball team, more specifically, varsity.
Mm,
And so I just wanted to make the basketball team because I heard that at my school, I heard it was hard to make, like, the coach picked favorites. You had to run a mile in 5 minutes. You had to do all this crazy conditioning, hell week, this and that, yada, yada, yada.
yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the basketball team. It seems, at the time, it seemed impossible. But I was like, I'm going to just go through it. So I spent my 8th grade summer just being in the gym, just shooting jump shots.
Yeah.
Just shooting, because that's all I knew was just how to shoot a jump shot.
But I mean, even if we look at that old footage, I mean, your shot was not good. So
No,
I mean,
the shot, it looked ugly. I'll give you that. It looked extremely ugly.
those cross arms were tough.
But when I'm telling you that I was shooting lights out with my arms crossing and people had to guard up on me and make me go into the paint, it yeah,
So
that's
it's
the
like the
shot
same
spoke
today.
for itself.
So it's like the same thing today.
Well, now it's just different.
In what way?
Now it's a little different.
In what way?
It's a little different. Everyone like you pointed out, everyone's a little taller. I have to adapt. I'm at that point now where I have to either expand my game or I'm gonna get left in the dust.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing. I was always like, when I like wanted to work on my handle, I would spend the summer working on my handle. At one point, my handle was better than my jump shot.
Hard to believe.
It's extremely hard to believe now, but that was back when Kyrie Irving was my favorite player. I had the Krispy Kremes, and so I just put the plastic bags over 2 basketballs in the gym. And so I went crazy on the handle. So my handle and my layups were better than my jump shot at one point. But then I saw that my jump shot was lacking. I had to work on the jump shot.
So would you say you struggle to be a multidimensional player?
Yes. I'm not. I'm gonna be honest. Yes.
And the steps you see to take, what would those be?
What do you mean?
Because wouldn't that be your doubt creeping in? I mean, I think a big part of your game is shooting. I mean, no one will deny that.
Yeah.
But your other aspects of the game are lacking, to say the least.
Well, the doubt really started to creep in when I would play pickup games. When I would start to play pickup games, and then I was like, oh, like I don't know what a screen is. What's a screen?
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really too worried about the skill aspect, because with the skill aspect, if you put enough work into your handle, working. I woke up early at like 3:30 in the morning, put plastic bags around the ball, shot 500 shots a day or whatever. But it was more the IQ. The doubt set in when it involved basketball and my basketball IQ.
It's the biggest. I mean, to me, it's one of the biggest aspects of basketball.
It's huge. And it's one of my. If there's a weakness to my game, it's.
Hold on, this is recorded, right? Because I need to hear. I want to replay this to all our friends, because I just want to hear you admitting this, because like I've been saying it for a long time.
No, it's been a well-known fact.
It's going to be very vindicating to hear you say these words. So go ahead.
No, it's a well-known fact that my IQ, not my handle, and not my layups, and not my jump shot, but the main weakness of my game, is my basketball IQ.
Oh, I mean that's what I've been waiting to hear for so long. I mean, for people that don't know, I mean, Casey, you play with him, and sometimes it hurts to play basketball with him because of his IQ. And, you have someone like me. I'm not here to brag, but, my IQ, I think, is very elevated. And to play with someone that is your friend, and you know what he's capable of, and he doesn't do it because, his IQ is like 5. It's very frustrating.
But that didn't mean I didn't work on it, though. My IQ got.
It's still low now.
What?
You still have a low IQ now.
Well, that's because my basketball IQ started to go on a decline literally after my high school season. Because all throughout my attempts to make the basketball team, I knew that the IQ was my weakness, because I never played an organized game of basketball in my life.
Yeah.
And so I was always nervous. I was always hesitant. I always had inhibitions. I never had inhibitions when it came to my shot, my layups, and my handle. I was a good player, but just my IQ really dragged me down. And so what I did is I just kept watching basketball, and that also helped me fall in love with the game. I watched high school games. I watched college games. I watched NBA games, and I just try to replicate what they do and try to like see why they did those things. You know what I mean? And so my peak was during my peak IQ was during my high school season because I was obviously on the team. I had to figure out what the block was, what the 5-man weave was, and so that was when I was the best at the peak IQ. But so that just segues into my first ever organized basketball game, my junior year of high school. And I will never forget. It was the first game against Dysart High School, some high school in
Garbage
in Arizona. Garbage, but they had a 3-point shooter, Eli Fleming. Shouts out to Eli. Garbage. But I remember Coach had me for the tip off.
Yeah.
Coach had me there for the tip off. Jaden Campbell, a good friend of mine, was the center. So he tipped it off, whatever. We're playing the game. The first pass I get from my teammate, I dropped it. I caught the ball because I was like so nervous. I got the pass. It went straight through my hands and went straight out of bounds.
Can I be honest with you?
What's up?
I don't really feel that pressure. I'm just out here to embarrass dudes. Did you not feel that? You feel the more of the opposite of it, where it's like, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be a defensive guy where I get crossed or get dunked on, even though it is JV and it's not really happening like that. Do you feel the opposite of that?
Well, it was really conflicting because everybody knew on the team that, I could score. My offensive game I was on the team for a reason. I could get a bucket. But whenever we were at practice, I would get straight buckets. Play like my game. Run around the court, get a screen set on me, get the pass, and then shoot it in the guy's mouth. It's a 3-point swish.
Yeah.
But whenever it came, we were playing a school. I became too passive, and even my teammates told me they're like, you're a scorer. You're on the court to get the buckets. Why are you passing everything?
Yeah.
So it was conflicting. So whenever I was on the court, I suddenly turned into a passive player. I wanted to be like LeBron, just started passing everything.
Let's talk about why don't you like that today?
Because I had to change. I had to do what I was good at, and that's to get a bucket.
Mm.
So it was just a result of me changing from wanting to pass the ball, you know what I'm saying, set up the offense or whatever, to like, all right, if I get the ball, who knows when I'm gonna get the ball again? I gotta score it.
Yeah.
So that's like the mentality shift that I had, and I had to realize that I had to become emotionally literate.
Okay.
And so I just became a bucket getter. But it took me a while to overcome my nervousness. So for the majority of the season, I was benched because I was scared.
I think, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a passive player too, because I like I said, I love to pass, and I fell way too deep into that where I would just give up an open shot for
Yep.
a pass. Like I would beat my man to go get a right-handed layup. I mean, the easiest shot in basketball, and I pass the ball instead of go up.
Yep. Relate.
I know where that comes from, but I mean, it was never me being scared to go up. It was just I love passing, and that's where my overpassiveness comes from. And it's crazy that I know that feeling of I know people that are like that. I mean, we play with our friends today that will say the same thing, like, oh, like I give you me, or they'll give us open shots, and I'll give them the ball, and they have an open jump shot, and they'll pass it. I'm like, shoot the ball. You gotta shoot the ball. What are we doing? So I know exactly where that comes from.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I always felt some inhibitions whenever I was in an organized game.
You may want to check on your chicken, but yeah, organized basketball games.
Yeah, and so and I remember one time I was in for out of bounds play. I didn't know where to stand for the out of bounds play. And so the ref was yelling at me like, stand right here. I was like, oh.
Were you scared of the ref?
No, I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna stand. I got fouled, and I think I had to pass the ball in.
You just weren't. Yeah, your basketball IQ must have been so low. I mean,
it was very low.
That's crazy because
he did say he was starting it off.
That's crazy.
But the thing is, I could hoop though.
Yeah, but I mean, what use is it if you can score if you don't have a basketball IQ?
That's what I'm saying. So my junior varsity year, I had to learn the terms. I had to learn basketball.
How'd you do that? Was it just watching film purely, or was it getting more experience?
Watching film purely, knowing where everything was at, asking my coaches like, what's a down screen? What do you mean float to the corner?
That's crazy. I mean, it's crazy that you say that as a junior, and I'm just like, I'm over here as in 7th grade, knowing what a flare, pin down.
Yeah, like flare, pin down, horns. We had to run horns action. I don't even know what that was.
Shimmy hook. I mean, I know what all that is in my 8th grade year. I mean, my 7th, 8th grade year. By the time I get to my freshman year, I mean, my knowledge is there. It's just my drive isn't there, And it took. I understand what you mean. Where it took, you had to find that. You had to find it and grind for it. Because it took me, 3 years, freshman, sophomore, junior year to make varsity. And yeah, I know what that's like, man. It's crazy though that we all go through the same ups and down hills.
No, yeah, and then I thankfully had the trait of with my willingness to learn and my open mindedness at the time.
Yeah, at the time, definitely at the time.
At the time, I had that. I was willing to learn, easy to coach.
Yep.
And then so that just carried on to my senior year, varsity, and I got more play time. I knew what area to run in when we were in the fast break. I love the fast break. I love the pull up jumper from 3 because the defense is not set. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we know. We know you like that jumper to pull.
So then senior year was way smoother, but that came with its own set of doubts. It was like, oh, it's like my senior year. I got to drop 20 a game. I did not drop 20 a game.
Yeah, I was like, but weren't you a bench guy?
Yeah, I did not drop 20 a game. And then I was a bench guy just solely because the starters were indeed just better than me. They were getting looked at by colleges, like they were just indeed better than me. And I could chop it up to like, oh, they're having a head start. I literally started playing basketball, organized basketball, literally last year. But I just used it as more fire to be better than my starting teammates to get a starting spot.
Yeah.
And then the closest I got was a 6-man.
Yeah.
Was a 6-man. I get in, whatever.
Did you like fumble your bag and you got sent right back down to the bench?
The only time I fumbled my bag was on defense. Was the switching, like the IQ came in. I don't know what do you mean switch? Like who do I pick up?
I mean, you're like that today. I mean, me and Zeke could tell you what to do on the screen, and you're like, oh. So I mean, where's the
100%?
Where's the improvement?
So I had trouble. Well, now it's just out of laziness. Like I'm not gonna play hard defense on some dude at the rec. They can live their
don't he blame on like his athlete leg or some dumb ass shit like that?
There's what is it?
And my
knee.
Jumper knee.
There you go. No,
and my knee
I just think the craziest for people that don't know. Me and Zeke, we played. I think I played the most basketball with Reese, and it's just astonishing.
I ain't never even heard of that until you said it.
Yeah, no, it's the astonishment of the ups and downs of this man.
No, the knee was a problem. I literally got scoliosis. Like I don't know.
There's weeks where I'll be like, dude, where is this? All the time he's passing, he's getting to the rim, he's hitting his shots, and it's just like those weeks you're like, there's no one else I'm picking over Casey, and then there's other weeks where I'm just like, I'd rather pick Oswald than you right now. It's garbage, being garbanzo beans right now, and I'm just looking for the consistency.
No, the consistency is definitely terrible, but the consistency on that jump shot is great, and that's all.
You definitely have your off days.
No, but the on days, everyone has their on and off days, but when those days are on, they're on.
No, I agree.
But when those days are off, they're off. So I'm consistently inconsistent.
But how can we change that? What's the goal? I think that's how we should finish it up. Where's the next step in basketball for you?
The next step in basketball is just to hit that gym, get more reps in, because I've been out the game for a little bit. I don't,
Just a little bit.
Just had college, everything, had classes, had some other distractions, but I'm starting to fall in love with the game
distractions?
Again.
Your
distractions case. What little bit?
Poor time management isn't distractions. It's poor time management.
Well, you get the idea. I got my flaws.
You ain't got no girlfriend. You ain't got no job.
Where's the distraction?
Freshman.
Where's the distraction?
You literally just came from a basketball season like not even a year ago. What distraction? What are you talking about, guys?
Just life's distraction, life hills and valleys.
I feel it.
And so, but over the summer, I'm gonna hit the lab, and then I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be the best player in that HLC.
No, you're not, but it's all right.
I will be the best. I will be the best player in that HLC.
You're not, but
or at least greatly like universes ahead of where I'm at right now.
You're not gonna be that much better.
Exponentially, I will be exponentially
better than that 25-year-old that don't go to school up here.
TJ Robinson.
Yeah, you gonna be better than him?
100%. No, this time around, since I've learned how to be emotionally literate, I have no doubt in my mind that I will be light years ahead of where I'm at right now and have exponential improvement. But thank you guys for coming out to the podcast.
Of course.
No problem.
Thank you guys for spinning your different viewpoints, keeping authenticity, your personality and authenticity. Thank you for keeping the structure, following the structure of the podcast. All the genre conventions Thank you for following the Genre Conventions podcast. And that's really any closing statements.
I just want to say that Casey's probably one of the worst basketball players I've ever played with.
That's tough.
I'm probably the best basketball player on the planet, and that's all I want to end with. Thank you, Varsity Club. Appreciate everybody out there in the world supporting the Animosity World Tour. Appreciate y'all. We're coming to a city near you soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I only hoop when money's on the line. Other than that, I don't care.
All right. This was the Out of the Varsity Club podcast, and stay tuned for the next episode.